housekeeping to do before we start. First of all, we're going to be calling a number of warrant articles. If you want to speak, that would be outstanding. Your input is most welcome and desired. If you want to speak, stand up, say your name, speak as loudly as possible. There's not another microphone, and I'll recognize you. And then we'll allow everybody to be heard before we speak on the warrant article. Of course, turn your cell phones into the silent mode. And one other housekeeping item, we use the main moderator's manual, which is a standard manual for parliamentary procedure in a town meeting like this. It gives me the rules of the road in terms of dealing with motions and other procedural matters that might come up. There's a couple of things I also need to do before we get started, and that is to start with announcing the results of the election yesterday. The state referendum bond question was yes, 145, no, 101. The RSU 21 budget validation was yes, 173, no, 72, blanks 1. The municipal election, selectmen, one for a 3-year term, Thomas Stanley, 210, write-ins and blanks, 36. RSU 21 director, one for a 3-year term, Mary Beth Luce, 207, write-ins and blanks, 39. Budget board for 2-year terms, 19 write-ins and 473 blanks. Budget board one for 1 term, 12 write-ins and 234 blanks. These positions will be filled by appointment until the next election. So congratulations to the winners of the election. Another housekeeping thing, which is done typically in the town meeting here, is for the town meeting to authorize certain non-residents to speak, because it is your town meeting. If they're non-residents, you have to give them that permission. So those non-residents would be as follows: Keith Trefethan, town manager; Tad Redway, the town planner; Bruce Mullen, the fire chief; Cardiff, the deputy chief; William King Jr., New York County sheriff; Jen Voss, the rec director; and Tom Barron, the chief deputy of the sheriff's department. Is there a motion to allow these non-residents to speak? Thank you. Is there a second to that motion? Any discussion? All in favor? To speak? All opposed? So that motion to allow those non-residents to speak is approved. So here we go. Everybody got there? You want to follow along as we go for Article 3? Here we go. So shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled Amendment to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to amend Section 3.2 definitions of agriculture, right-of-way, and watercourse, Section 4.6 to reduce setbacks to intermittent streams, Section 510.2.1 lighting at site plan for shoreline permit, Section 510.3.2 lighting to differentiate incandescent from LED lighting, Section 512.3.3F handicap parking, to use current ADA citations for handicap parking, Section 517.9.4 to standardize the size of home occupation signs. Copy of the ordinance is attached to the original town meeting warrant, as Penny would say. Is there a motion to approve Article 3? That's the motion. Is there a second? That motion's been made second. Is there discussion on Article 3? Sir, please say your name and go ahead.
Bill Ridley. I'd like to know if anyone could answer this. The reduction of setback to intermittent streams, how does the town benefit by reducing that setback?
You want to take that?
That's intermittent streams,
Right.
not just regular streams. The idea was that intermittent streams flow intermittently. They're not as important as the perennial stream, and therefore the planning board thought that in many cases, many streams that run dry for half the year or more, that really would place a bit of a burden to require the same setback for an intermittent stream that the town requires for a regular stream. Thank you. Did anybody hear that?
No.
I did.
Okay.
Mic up on his too, because you work with your director.
Kim?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Just to repeat,
Hold on. The question was, if you repeat the question by intermittent streams.
the question was, why is it more important to, why does the town want to reduce setbacks for intermittent streams and are they not as valuable as perennial streams? And Glenn Wood's concept on that was they still were going to maintain a setback from intermittent streams. They felt that perennial streams were streams that flow year-round, have more value, need more protection than an intermittent stream that goes dry during the summer. And, but it was still a setback. It's just not as great a setback.
How much?
Can you raise stand up and say your name?
Hi, Lisa Dietrich. What's the difference that we want to change it to?
I believe it's down to 25,
From what?
25 feet from the upland edge of the intermittent stream.
And what did it used to be?
50. And will continue to be 50 for a perennial stream.
Okay. Well, I don't think that, I don't agree with what you said, how it would be as important as a non-intermittent stream. I think the intermittent streams have a lot to do, they dry up, there's a lot of vernal pools, and I think we run into a lot of, losing a lot of our wildlife by changing to those intermittent streams.
Say your name, please. Chip Bassett.
The other considerations here is that we were trying to get in conformance with the state with parking requirements. Chip Bassett, the only consideration of the process is we wanted to bring our code into conformance with the state code, the state department of traffic.
Can you turn that one mic up? Because that's not as loud as that one.
How close you hold it to your mouth?
How close you get it to your, any questions and comments? Great. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 3, signify by raising your arms. All opposed? Article 3 passes. Article 4. Shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to add performance standards, section 5.7, fire protection, and amendments to the Arundel subdivision regulations to repeal and replace sections 11.2A, 3B, and 12.1B, language consistent with land use ordinance section 5.7. Is there a motion to approve Article 4? Motion's been made and seconded to approve Article 4. Discussion on Article 4. Seeing none. Oh, sir.
What is it now? Also, so
Well,
what is it now
Question is, what is it now?
before we change it? What articles, what sections?
What it is an addition of a section on fire protection where we don't have, and it's also an amendment to the subdivision ordinance regarding the size of water facilities that are provided. And currently, the current one is for subdivisions is ISO standards, which was written back about 10 years ago. And those standards start off with a 30,000 gallon cistern and then 5,000 gallon addition to a cistern for every home into the subdivision. This reduces it down to, I believe it's a $15,000 cistern period. An option of a 15,000 gallon cistern, a fire pond, or a sprinkler system in the house. The applicant gets to choose, and the fire chief is the one who makes the approval. So it gives options where currently, right now, those options technically don't exist because you have to put in this 30,000 gallon plus the additional 5,000 per house. And we're finding that, of course, that the cost of these systems is getting increasingly expensive, and that it's becoming a burden for subdivisions.
So we have water issues in Arundel, so regardless of what we do, how do we know it works? whether it be a sprinkler system, a cistern, or a fire pump, like last August, when we had no water.
Well, the cistern, one of the good things about a cistern, it's a closed system, and so if it's checked regularly, it should not lose water, technically.
Who checks it?
Fire department checks it. They have a regular system. Chief can correct me on this, but it's my understanding they do check all cisterns and fire ponds on a periodic basis to make
How
sure
many do
they're
we have
functioning.
now?
I can't answer how many fire ponds that are functioning right
The
now.
fire chief?
Chief Reynolds? You count them up?
We have, I think, 6, oh, sorry, Reynolds not as deputy fire chief. I think we have 6 cisterns in town and there's approximately 25 ponds.
So were the ponds usable last August?
Most of them. In all systems.
And who checks them and who pays for them?
We do it as on-duty crews. We, in the spring and in the fall, we check them.
How old are the cisterns that are replaced?
Most of the cisterns that we have are less than 10 years.
So they concrete or what?
I'm sorry?
What's the life expectancy of the cistern system? What are they made of?
You can either do concrete or you can do a hard poly. A lot of them are hard poly now.
So for the sizing, does it matter how big the subdivision is, just one cistern? Or, I think there's just there's not a lot of facts. You give us one size cistern, you can build a subdivision to how many lots? Is there a limit?
And see, the reason why we're trying to kind of step aside on the ISO rating, cisterns have gone increasingly expensive. A 15,000 gallon cistern right now is, I think the last quote we got was around $20,000. So if you put in a 35,000 gallon cistern and then add 5,000 gallons for each house in the development, you're looking at, $100,000, $150,000 depending on how big the development is. So that's why we're thinking of going with the option of either a fire pond, a small cistern, or sprinklers. What the small cistern does, it buys us time for mutual aid companies to come in, so now we can start hauling water from surrounding ponds and stuff. Because with the ISO rating, nobody's gonna want to build, because it's way
So
too
one
expensive.
small cistern will cover unlimited
But
houses?
what that does is buys us time till we can get the mutual aid tanker trucks.
No, I understand what you're saying. If I put a subdivision in it at 100 lots, I only need one small cistern.
Is that what you got in your, I don't have it in front of me, so.
Where does that cistern become non-functioning? If I put 100 lots in, how big am I speaking? One small cistern comes to me, I'm all for it.
I don't have
But
it.
I don't think he had to save his money.
The fire chief ultimately has the capability in this ordinance in order to make decisions for situations like that. But this ordinance has been basically based on the average subdivision that we have, which is usually less than 20 lots.
But that doesn't work based on an average that's up to the fire chief, need black and white. Because I'm all for it. If I can put 100 lots in one cheap cistern and it covers it all, why wouldn't I go for it?
Well, I mean, the fire chief has got to have some flexibility in order to make that decision.
You would not put the fire chief in that position. Then you've got gray areas and you need rules and regulations, black and white.
Okay.
Yeah, the operating thing, for your scenario, thank you, the chairman just pointed out, the operating situation of that is that there is a distance that you have to be within certain systems. So if you've got a 100-foot, let's say you've got a 100-unit subdivision, all the houses around that cistern have to be within a half a mile of that cistern. If they're more than a half a mile, then you're going to have to put in another cistern.
That's still easy. So that's a 1 mile radius of the system. Right?
2,500 feet. As you drive, it's not just 2,500 feet as the profile, as you drive, because it's based also on how much hose you carry.
Duke, I appreciate your questions. It's been a great discussion. I'm just going to see if anybody else has a question. And if you have more, we'll come back to you. Does anybody else have a question or comment on our Ms. Reynolds? Take the microphone.
Well, I understand that there are questions about this particular regulation. To me, this is, well, I know my regulations, everybody in this room will say it at one point. There is some common sense things. That is, if you're going to put in a subdivision in a town that has no public water, you have to have some accommodation for ensuring that if there's a fire, there's some way to at least try to stop it before it gets out of control. Yes, you're going to, if you want to have 100 subdivisions, that might hard in this town, but if you did, the chances of all 100 of them going at the same time, okay? But if you at least have water on site for a sprinkler system or a pond, you at least have the ability to at least attempt to stop it before it gets to the rest of the town. This is just common sense. This isn't about how many, is it big, is it small? This is about common sense. You want to put a subdivision in, then you need to ensure that there is some accommodation for some type of water to prevent fires, period.
Another conversation, please. Can we get the microphone? Can we get the microphone back? So you're a former speaker, you get to do something with your other.
Stacy Guy in the middle, and I think my question is actually for the fire chief, since I just saw the new fancy pumper truck. So if a cistern has 20,000 gallons, is what we're talking about, how many gallons a minute, or how quickly would that pump up for the truck?
It would depend on how much water we're flowing at any given time, and it depends on how much fire is in the building. So, very seldom, the trucks we have are 1,250 gallons a minute, but very seldom do we pump at capacity. So, 20,000 gallons, depending on the fire flow. Yeah, you're talking minutes. But the other thing is it buys us the time to get the mutual aid trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I understand the reason. I understand that.
Questions, comments? Is everything good? All set. Good. You all set? Thank you.
I'll move the question.
Okay. Well, I think we're ready. Seeing no further discussion on Article 4, all in favor, signify by raising your cards. There you go. All opposed? Article 4 passes. Article 5, shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled Amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to amend land use districts as follows. Added as additional conditional use, low impact manufacturing in section 6.4.2. Amend section 6.5210 DD to conditional uses as follows: medical marijuana caregiver production facility, provided that the facility is located no less than 1,000 feet from any church, school, daycare facility, any other medical marijuana caregiver production facility. Delete section 611, Natural Resource Conservation District, NRC, in its entirety. Amend tables 6.43, 6.53, 6.73 as follows: maximum lot coverage. Amend table 6.64 as follows: maximum lot coverage. So motion to approve Article 5. So motion is made, seconded. Discussion on Article 5.
I just have one question. I don't have an issue with the ordinance. I just have one question, and that was the rationale for the 1,000 feet from another medical marijuana caregiving production facility. I mean, I'm sure there's some real reason why you did it. I was just curious what it was.
Yeah, that's right, Mike.
You can try talking in camera.
I can try talking in camera, see what happens.
Is it called a speaking stick?
Yes, it is. The planning board felt that the one thing that the medical marijuana facilities were always supposed to be cottage industries. You're supposed to be, the medical marijuana, whoa. There we go. That working? The medical marijuana facilities, the planning board felt, were always supposed to be cottage industries. They were not supposed to be huge operations, and they wanted to make sure that, given some of the responses we've had in the past, because we've licensed medical marijuana facilities, caregivers, and the object was to make sure that they didn't congregate in any particular district, and that they stayed as a cottage industry. And so that's why they decided to put a distance between them, certain residents, certain uses. And that was the concept. This will probably all change because of the new legislation that has come out. I will take this opportunity to tell the townspeople that the planning board will be conducting a series of public hearings and surveys to ask your input on how we approach medical marijuana, or I shouldn't say medical marijuana use and marijuana facilities in the town. The moratorium that the state has imposed will expire in February. Certainly we want to be having a clear idea, the planning board wants a clear idea from you folks, exactly what you're looking for. This is not the final word on this, but this is just an interim measure until the townspeople decide how they want marijuana treated, whether we want retail sales, production, testing facilities, social clubs, any of these various types of marijuana purveyors and production facilities in this town. And so you're going to have to help the planning board out by participating and figuring out exactly what you want and what you don't want. So I would take this opportunity to ask you to, for those who do want to weigh in on this, please participate. You'll be seeing the planning board bringing this subject up in the future, probably starting this summer. And we'll be posting it online. You can go on our website and subscribe to our email alerts, and we'll send you an alert that these things are occurring. And of course, it will require a town meeting, special town meeting, for the townspeople to vote to approve or deny whatever the planning board recommends given their input.
We're on Article 5, comments, discussion on the service area.
Bill Worthman, I'm wondering what, I'm wondering what the reason is for deleting the Natural Resources Conservation District.
In a simple word, it's redundancy. That's why. The Comp Plan Committee, Comp Plan Review Committee made a recommendation back in 2014. Here we go again. The Comp Plan Committee had made a recommendation, and the town meeting had approved in the Comp Plan, I believe it was the 2015 Comp Plan revision, that the Natural Resource Conservation District be eliminated from our zoning. Main reason why was that the NRC district is primarily already occupying area that's in the Resource Protection District, or the Shoreland Resource Protection District. And therefore, the Resource Protection District is actually more restrictive than the Natural Resource Conservation District, much more restrictive. And it's also mandated by the state. So the Comp Plan Committee determined that why have a district that you can't do anything in when we already have other districts overlaying it that are going to restrict anything that the Natural Resource Conservation District proposes. So that's why we're actually, the planning board's now implementing what you folks passed 2 years ago.
Other questions or comments on Article 5? Seeing any, all in favor of Article 5? All opposed? Article 5 passes. Article 6, shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled Amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to repeal and replace performance standards, section 5.20, storm management. So motion on Article 6. Motion's made and seconded to approve Article 6. Discussion on Article 6. Anybody? Okay. All in favor of Article 6, signify by raising your hand. 7, shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to amend section 3.2 definitions pertaining to the Shoreland Protection District, amend section 8.2, 8.5, and 8.6 of the Shoreland zoning, and to amend the Shoreland zoning map accordingly. Motion? Motion's been made and seconded to approve Article 7. Questions, comments, concerns about Article 7? Article 7. All in favor of Article 7, signify by raising your hands. All opposed? Article 7 passes. On to Article 8. Shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to repeal conditional uses? Section 9.24, application procedures, submission requirements, in place of 9.24, application procedures, submission requirements, the conditional use permit review process shall subscribe to the same submission requirements and review procedures as for a site plan review application as prescribed in LUO section 10.4-10.9. The motion to approve Article 8. Motion's made second. Comments, questions on Article 8? Okay, all in favor of Article 8? All opposed? Article 8 passes. Article 9. Shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to amend conditional use of section 9.31 to permit detached accessory apartments? Is there a motion? Second. Motion's made and seconded. Thank you very much to approve Article 9. Is there discussion on Article 9? Comments? Questions? Sir, stand up, sir. Thank you. Here comes the mic.
Come to Mike.
I'm just not sure what that means. Detached, you can have an ancillary apartment, is that correct?
I throw that to
Representative.
All the standards that are in performance standards for an accessory apartment apply. The only difference over here is that whereas you always have to have an accessory apartment in the main structure or attached to the main structure, this allows folks to put it in a detached structure. The reason being, a lot of folks have detached garages with room over it that they want to put an apartment in. Or they have a guest house, and they have a little guest house that they want their parents to come or their friends to come and stay in. And this enables that to occur currently. You can't do that. It has to be in the house. And so this gives a little bit more freedom to the property owner. The only caveat is just like with the accessory apartment that's in the house, the accessory, the detached unit has to be hooked to the existing septic system. That's in there.
Sir, you want to stand up? Please stand up and say your name, please. Would you stand up or can you? Oh, you just want to? We're going to get you on those head.
Keep dropping.
You got to keep it within.
No, it's heavy.
Point of order, Mr. Zoo.
So on that detached accessory, you still need the square footage
Yes.
for a two-family?
Yes. No, it's not two-family. You still need the same square footage. It's a percentage of the square footage of the main house.
So regardless of your square footage of your lot, you can put a detached garage with accessory apartment, regardless of your lot size?
Correct. That's the way it is right now. You're going to have an accessory dwelling unit in every single family home in town.
But it's still.
So you can make any
It
lot.
still has to meet the square footage requirements. They're in the performance standards that are in the back.
Which square footage?
The ones that are in the performance standards. It's 50% of the total square footage of the main house up to 800 square feet.
But in regards to the size of your lot, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You can put it on a quarter of an acre.
That's correct.
No.
Well,
No, we don't allow a quarter of an acre.
well, whatever it is, what's the smallest lot we got?
1/3. You can get 30,000 square feet by state plumbing code.
And we can put 2 units on that.
If you provide a lot. It's not 2 units, it's an accessory apartment. You cannot be bigger than 800 square feet. At the most, it's still 50% of what the square footage of the main house is.
So that's generous.
It is.
You create a lot of two-family units now.
Well, it was always intended to be mother-in-law apartment. That's the intent.
But it's neat. All right. Like,
Okay, further questions, comments on Article 9 about detached accessory apartments? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 9? All opposed? Article 9 passes. Article 10. Shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to add conditional use of section 9.3.20 farm retail? Is there a motion to approve Article 10? Motion's made seconded to approve Article 10. About some discussion on Article 10. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 10? All opposed? Article 10 passes. Article 11. Shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the Arundel Land Use Ordinance to amend conditional use of section 9.3.33 to permit pet day care centers in residential districts and add pet day care facility as a conditional use to section 6.1 to R1, 6.2 to R2, 6.3 to R3, 6.10 to R4. It's a motion to approve Article 11. Second. Motion's made seconded to approve Article 11. Discussion on Article 11. All in favor of Article 11?
Actually, I have a question.
You have a question? All right. Mike, take the mic. Just so to make it time.
So are there hours on establishment like that?
What about hours?
Yes.
Hours, like,
Yes.
what's the
No
hours?
oversight, no overnight.
Overnight, so.
6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
6 a.m. Okay. All right, thank you.
That's your question. Oh, the question of yours, if you mic again.
Are there requirements around how many dogs the facility has to be, size of pens, size of running area, et cetera?
Yes, there are standards for that. You'll find them in the bathrooms.
So in order for someone to be able to put running gear into rooms, we are going to be able to meet all the others. Yes, okay.
Sure. Okay. Close your mouth. There's nobody else. Okay. We're on pet daycare facilities, Article 11. Any further discussion on Article 11? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 11? All opposed? Okay, Article 11 passes. Article 12. Shall the town adopt an ordinance entitled amendments to the residential road ordinance to lower the number of new residential building permits from 40 to 32 per annum? Is there a motion on Article 12? Motion's been made seconded to approve Article 12. How about some discussion on Article 12? Sir, please stand up, say your name, you got some mic? Okay.
I remember there was a public meeting.
Say your name, please.
I'm sorry, my name is Sam Ball. There was a public meeting, I recall, last year, or this year concerning this. And I just wonder when this proposal is in accordance with the discussion that took place at the public meeting. It was a rather heated discussion, and I thought the outcome was basically not to reuse it from its current size.
Remember the old Phil Donahue show?
This is not Jerry Springer. Yes, you're right, Sam. That did in fact occur. Okay. I was so had a big enough mouth. That meeting did occur. Planning board did review it again. They went over the data again. This is not really known. This is based on the pattern of building permits that had been issued in the previous 3 to 6 years. We did over 10 years, excuse me. And it's based on the average building permits from that 10-year period, which which came in at 14, quite frankly, we've been very slow for a period of time. Planning board, after that public hearing, considered it and then decided to jump it back up to 32 from 28, because I believe at that meeting that you're talking about was 28. And that was twice what the data said we should put back. And incidentally, the data that I'm referring to is a formula the state requires us to go through every 3 years, and it's based on the number of building permits that are issued. What it is a safety valve to ensure that the town is too artificial to prevent building permits from being issued because of pressure. So it keeps jumping up 5% every time it goes over the limit. But the planning board said we felt that we didn't have that kind of pressure, but they decided to go up to 32, which is far less than what it originally has. It started in 1978 at 36 and has consistently been 36 until a big push in the 2000s and it went up to 40. The planning board wanted to reduce it down a little bit back, and if there's more pressure, if we ever get to 33 point, it's not. But at this point, we're not going to have those numbers close to 32. So they felt that 32 is a good compromise.
Okay. Ma'am? You just scratch it? Sorry.
I'm Linda Zook. I was at that meeting, and I think it was pretty much determined why we're wasting our time with this. Have we ever hit anything close to 40? Have we ever hit anything close to 36? And if the state requires you to research it, you keep going up and up, and you haven't gone up. Why?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Because we're required to have a state statute every 3 years.
Can you explain why to review it?
Yes, we're required to review it.
And if you continue to go up and up, then you will, we have it. As you just explained it.
Yeah, we haven't needed to go up at all. We're nowhere near the 40. The reason why you adjust it is because your 40 is right now your baseline. If you were to get more pressure, let's say we were to get a lot more pressure, just each rise, the idea is to correct it back down to an intermediate level and keep it at a certain level where it's supposed to do its functions to make sure you don't get overrun. That's why they tell us to keep reviewing it every 3 years. And historically, as I said, it's always been around 36.
Question, sir. You want to stand up and say your name?
Yeah, quick flame, I don't need it. I got a big mouth. How many are you at this year? Right now?
New building permits?
Yep.
Don't know right now. I don't know this year's figure.
35.
We're at 35? So if I want to build my house this year on the new road that I bought that lot, I can't build it if you go down to 32?
That was calendar year 2016.
Does that include the seasonal?
That includes seasonal
That includes
cottages.
seasonal cottages.
It's primarily seasonal cottages. Tim didn't make a distinction.
So I'm asking the question, I want to build a house and I plan on building a new road in another month. And I go get a permit, I can't build it?
No, there are quite a few available right now. There are still permits. I think we're probably up to 14, 15
I
at
think we're
this
about
point.
14, 15 right now. New residential homes.
Can I say something?
Can I just add something? There's also something in the ordinance that we've adopted that basically gives, if it gets to a point where it would be a tight, and it's like you as a resident and somebody else as a developer, it gives additional points to somebody who's in a rental resident that is, actually either replacing or building their home. They get more points than to get a permit first before a developer would.
That's a question here. Get you next time.
Well, they say I'm safe, but.
Well, we're at 14 right now. And
So if I'm reading this right, in 2016, 35 single-family homes permits. Then it says seasonal cottages 33. So are those two separate things?
Yes.
That's not counted in. So in 2016, we had 35 permits. And we wanted to bring it down below that.
no, the seasonal home is not a single family home. That's it. It's
I
technically
understand
not.
this, it's written as two separate things.
Yeah.
Page 29.
Yeah, I know that. I'm just looking at the data I've got here that I got from the code enforcement officer. You didn't have 35. It says 14 for last year.
I'm afraid I can't explain that. It's like every guy says it's 14 for last year.
Okay, let me give her a follow-up.
Growth permits is different from regular building permits.
It really doesn't make any sense to me. Why we're holding it, and then as Simone says, we make adjustments, why even just leave it? It's not like 50, it's 40. It's been there, it seems, it doesn't make any sense, especially when we're getting folks. It's like a stipend, so.
It was 12, we had 12 last year.
I'm not sure how he filed this data on this report, but I know that we do keep track of what we consider growth permits. So in other words, if it's a new building, I'm not sure exactly how that listing of permits went. We used to have 2016 is 12, you know. But according, I know when we give out building permits, there's some that are building regular permits for new homes, and then there's some that fall under the growth permit. In other words, like when we replaced my family home, I would have gotten a building permit, but I didn't need a growth permit because the house was already existing. Although because we added my apartment, we had that counted as one growth permit because it was a building and a half. So in other words, there's certain forms, there's certain permits that don't fall under the growth part of it. So the figures he's talking about are the growth permits, that these might be considered more permits. So if you demolish a trailer, but you're replacing it with a structure, you're basically getting a building permit for a single-family home, but you don't fall under the growth permit because there was already an existing building there. And we've had several of those in town recently. So I think that's where your discrepancy is, where you're seeing 35 in the town report book as far as single-family homes, but they're not necessarily growth permits, which is what he's looking at as growth permits.
If I can, according to the figures we received from the CEO, for the last 10 years, I'll just give the last 5 years. In 2016, we had 12 growth permits. 2015, we had 23. 2014, we had 4. And 2013 was 13. 2012 was 15. 2011 was 21. And the highest in that whole period was 2010. It's the highest we've gone in the last 10 years. 26 in the last 10 years. That was the highest, and that was in 2010.
And I believe the 26 was because I believe that's where we were, was 26 permits before. I brought this issue up quite some time ago, and I brought it up because we as a town did not make a decision to increase our growth permits on our home. We were forced by the state to increase our permits because of the number of permits we had given out. So I said, well, since we're not giving out any permits, why can't we go back to what we were, which was under 826. Now, I'm in the same situation as Simone, and that is that I got a building permit, but it did go under the regular growth because I was replacing a house. Now, for those of us that lived in town for a long time, Mr. LaFlame, when I went to get my permit, I was told that even if I wasn't replacing my house because I've lived here for centuries and I own the land forever, there's a point system. So for every year you own your land, you get so many points. For every year you live in town, you get so many points. So what they said to me is that you get the permit, one of the top of the list doesn't matter when you increase it. So I wasn't concerned. I did my house. I was, I think, probably one of 6 that week. So I just wanted it to go back to where it was. I don't want to be forced to raise our limits because that impacts our fire department, rescue, everything else. I just want it to go back to the way it was.
Sam Hall. I'm a little mystified as to why we're trying to limit the growth of fishing. We're in a highly desirable area. We have a lot of land. Development is going to come.
Questions, comments?
I don't need the mic, my voice carries. Wayne Monroe, I'm a resident. There seems to be disparity in the data. And we're talking about 8 permits, and at the town line, it says Down East Magazine, one of the nation's best communities. I think this town's growing, and we would benefit by having 40 permits, I believe. Why restrict? This town is a lowly community. We have youth coming up, interest rates are low. 40 ought to be the number. It's not like it's 50%
Kevin Allen, Old Post Road. If you go back to the numbers into the early 2000s when there was a building boom, you'll probably see that we did use the total amount of permits those years because there was I had a friend who had to wait a year to get a building permit. So, I mean, obviously if you go back 5 years, we've been in a recession. We're just coming out of it, so obviously 5 years ago we weren't giving out a lot of building permits. I say we stay at the 40 because, as everybody said, I was on an economic development committee for the town of Arundel. And it would seem that bringing in more property value through more people buying and building homes in town would be a good way to increase our property value and maybe pay off some of this RSU money that we're going to be bumping our mill rate up drastically here this year.
Okay, anybody else want to be heard?
Jack Reeves. I've tried to listen carefully here, and I think I'm here for the last 17 years. It ain't broke. How are we going to fix it?
Anybody? Okay. No further comments on Article 12. Those in favor signify by raising their arms. Okay. Those opposed? Article 12 fails. Article 13. This is a little long. It would sound like one of those advertisements where they give the caveats on the drugs, but it's probably important to read it for the record. To see the town will vote to authorize and direct the board of selectmen subject to their determination of good title to close on the purchase of a certain lot or parcel of land 35 acres in size, located on the generally southwesterly side of Winter Road in Arundel, to be acquired by the Warranty from Kerry Box LLC for $375,000 to be funded out of the municipal building reserve account, and then to execute and deliver a proclaimed deed which covenant to the Kennebunkport Conservation Trust, acting by and through its affiliate, the Arundel Conservation Trust, for all of said land solely for conservation purposes, including public access, except for a parcel of land approximately 6 acres in size, but no more than 8 acres of any part of another 2 acres of adjacent land is necessary to satisfy any applicable government restrictions. Fronting on the Limerick Road to be retained by the town as a site for the municipal services complex, but with public access for parking and restroom facilities for the public, for the adjacent conservation land, in consideration of the Kennebunkport Conservation Trust payment of $175,000, such that the town's cost for the purchase of the retained parcel for the new municipal complex shall be $200,000. Is there a motion to approve that article? That's Article 13. I see motion to seconder. Okay, discussion about Article 13. Ma'am?
I guess I can speak up. I was a school teacher. This is a little confusing. How is this arranged, the payment? One of the concerns that I have is that we are buying something for somebody else, and you wouldn't lend money to your family. I wouldn't lend thousands of dollars to my family or my friends in good faith that it was going to be paid back. Why aren't we buying just the 6 acres and having the Conservation Trust buy their own land? Why are we going through this? I don't understand this arrangement.
Maybe I can explain that.
You're going to have to speak up. Thank you.
contemplating here is that we are going to have, this goes through, we're going to have simultaneous closing. At the same closing, we will appear along with the Arundel Conservation Trust with the money to purchase the land. At that closing, the transfer will be made to us of the entire parcel, that is the town of Arundel, who in turn will transfer to the Arundel Conservation Trust or the Kennebunkport Conservation Trust the open land, whether that's whether they get 6 or 8 acres, they get the balance. So it's all going to happen at the same time,
When
at the
is
same
it
vote.
going to happen?
It isn't going to happen yet because we need to do a lot of research in terms of survey has to be done. One of the reasons we could not do what you suggested is that we would have to do survey already. To decide, we would have to do a survey already. We would have to do due diligence in terms of soils tests, other engineering costs to be sure that the parcel that we end up with is going to support a municipal facility.
Do they already have the funds to do this?
That's what's been represented to us. If they don't, we don't close.
Okay,
Okay.
I like that.
Joan Hall. Joan Hall, and I'm representing, I'm from Arundel, and I'm the Arundel Conservation Trust. And we do have, we're going to have to fundraise for it, but for the closing, we have the money that is being actually given to us from Arundel. So we have the money. From Kennebunkport land, the Kennebunkport Conservation Trust is letting us access the line of credit, so the money will be there on that day. That's not to say that we're going to be asking in fundraising to give that back to Kennebunkport, but the money will be there on the day of closing.
I just wanted to ask, do you plan on paying that back by fundraising? How do you plan on doing it?
By fundraising, by grants, many ways. The money has been, as the Arundel Kennebunkport, as the Arundel Conservation Trust, because we saw this as a marvelous opportunity to work together with the town, we worked and became an affiliate of Kennebunkport Conservation Trust, so that we didn't have to go through the whole thing of becoming our own separate entity that would take a lot of time. And they have been extremely supportive of us and are willing to let us access some of their funds to do this.
Yeah, Rick LaFlame, what's going to be allowed and not allowed on that conservation land once you purchase it from the trust? What activities are there what's going to be allowed and not allowed?
Well, I don't know that we've gotten that far, but we're probably on the basis of other land, working with Kennebunkport, other than motorized vehicles. And it's going to be set up for walking and biking. We hope to have access to the Eastern Trail as part of this, also to the river. So if you're worried about hunting, if that's a question, that would be allowed. We don't have to stop it. We'll just have signs to tell people, use grain, there's something orange. It's going to be out there. Is that?
Yes, thank you so much. I'd love to be on that board when you make those.
Excellent. Excellent. Let me take your names as you go out, because we need a lot of help to get this really going. So we'd love that.
I don't know if I needed another reason anyway. Why is it that we felt we needed to partner with them? I mean, the amount of money for the rest of the land wasn't that much. We're paid well. When you look at it, we're paid $200,000 for 6 or 8 acres. They're getting 27 acres for $175. All right, we're always saying we don't have enough. The problem is now we let it out of the control of the town. And I'm really, if you're going to buy the keeps, buy the keeps, control. That way, if we decide that we need to do a ball field, or we want to do something else for kids, or we want to make a place for the rec department, there's a place for them to go. And it's within the town's, it's within the town's control as to what we do with the land. So, say for example, we want to move the rec department over to the town hall, and we want to do all the rec things there. Wouldn't it be nice to have that amount of land to be able to have the kids go running around it? That's my point. Now, since there's going to be a loan from Kennebunk to the conservation, is there going to be a lien on this property by Kennebunk?
It's
Kennebunk Conservation Trust.
the same organization. We're affiliated with it, so it's us, chapter of us.
All right, so is the land going to be owned by the Rundle Conservation, or is it going to be owned by the Kennebunk Port or Kennebunk?
But the Kennebunk Port Conservation Trust,
All right.
that's the entity.
And so the stipulation on this is going to be that they can never sell it to development?
No residential, commercial development.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that there's, sorry.
There would be no development allowed on the property whatsoever in terms of commercial, residential, those types of things. The only thing that would be allowed is if the Conservation Trust needed to construct a unit or a storage unit for equipment they may need to groom trails or those types of things, that was going to be permitted. But otherwise, the land is supposed to stay open to the public for recreational activities and hunting and those types of things.
And so why didn't we go after the whole piece?
I think the suggestion was, Diane, that $375,000 would be too much for the town to resort at this point in time.
Should I get a few more comments?
Joanne Witt. Has the federal source has taken on that? It's not on? I don't need it anyway. Joanne Witt, has there been a soils test done on this part that's going to be where the...
There's been some preliminary testing done already.
So if we spend the $50,000 for the site plan, we know that it's going to pass for water and septic.
We don't know the size of the septic system or what the design would be at this point in time, but the suggestion has already been made that the soils are suitable for a septic system for that facility. Where it would be and those types of things, we don't know just yet. But I believe it was done already.
So if we pass tonight to buy that property, we know it's going to pass for water and soil.
The condition of the contract is we would have to be assured that we can put a septic system on there suitable for it. Otherwise, we don't close.
Well, I don't need a microphone. Marty Kane, everybody else. First of all, is the town hall considered a business? First question.
You want to get both your questions?
I know, first question, because we passed part of the ordinances of having DB1 and DB2 as business districts and everything else. Along that lines, the town is not even following their own guidelines and falling into a business entity. And the second thing is, we want to pay that, but then in Article 14, we're putting another $250,000 out?
No. So the $250 is for the additional $50,000, up to $50,000 for the cost of survey, engineering, those types of things. But it's 200 plus 50, it's total 250. We only spend $200,000 for the land.
So we've been through this before. When we went to go play the village center, okay, which was on Route 1, which everyone was hot and heavy about, but turned out that was possibly good then, but we have property off Route 1 now, and why can't we use that overall to be part of guidance of showing the town that we mean what we want to do in DB1 or DB2?
Because we had the property in Route 1 evaluated by Surveyor Checklist. It has serious limitations on what we can do there.
But the amount that your limitation, what you're paying for the property, would be equal to probably the amount that we have already there.
We looked at that and it didn't balance out at all, Marty. We would spend a lot more. And some of us were concerned about the location on Route 1 in any event.
What?
Traffic and those types of things.
Traffic is the same.
We thought the better location was here on the
We sent out surveys several years ago. We had a survey, and the majority at the time wanted it on, not on Route 1. And then there also were several public hearings. There was a meeting that was held and advertised for that. And again, the majority of people that attended that meeting said that they favored the Winter Road property. And I'm not sure, maybe Kat can answer this, but I believe that municipal functions are exempt under land use or as far as, because like the school is not considered a business, it's a municipal facility, and just like the town hall and fire station are municipal and are exempt from, I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but.
You're primarily correct. It's a public facility, it's a conditional use. It's not exempt, it has to go through the process.
Yes.
I'm questioning the location and following up on Marty's comments about it being in a residential district. I spent 28 years doing consulting, financial consulting, economic development work for municipalities. I don't understand why we are putting a town hall, which hopefully has a useful life for 40 or 50 years, in a residential district where there can be absolutely zero economic development ancillary to it, whether it's a convenience store or a lawyer's office or something like that. It makes no sense to me to locate the town hall in what is strictly a residential district. And I want to know what the alternative is. If this doesn't pass, what alternative is open to the town? Because it seems to me that there's got to be some other option.
Aren't we already in a residential zone with the current town hall and the current fire department and everything else? Are we already on the Liberty Road and we're only like a fire from? Are we in a residential zone?
Back then, it was all residential. We didn't have any zoning when the town hall was there.
Yes.
So you can't use that as a residential because it's existing there.
Denise Arkin. I just want to make sure I understand this. This parcel of land is 35 acres,
Plus or minus, yeah.
and we're going to only have 6 or 8 of that 35?
Correct.
I guess Diane asked that question. How come we only get such a little portion of it if we're going to be paying more than the 12?
But the thought was we were going to get the piece that could be developed.
Oh, okay.
The other is probably not particularly developable. It's down in the head source of water, low land, so it's more conducive, it seems to me, to the recreational activities that the Conservation Trust envisions.
So the portion we're going to get is more useful.
Up in the front, flat ground, don't have to clear, those types of things, no road for putting in.
So it's a better piece. Okay, thank you.
The other piece of that, John Russell, this isn't specifically on this use of property. This isn't specifically a choice of property. I presume that that section is on back 194. I presume the board has evaluated several properties that were under consideration, has come up with a decision that this is the one that they would support. The issue seems to be pretty clear that 6 acres is not available to the town unless the whole piece. If I was selling that large piece of property, I would make a contingent that those back acres would go with the front available acres. And the question of, we're not paying as much for the additional acreage. Well, that's typical. You never pay as much for back acreage as you would for road frontage. So certainly the road frontage piece is going to cost more than the back acreage. The real benefit here is a benefit to the town. It doesn't cost the town anything more to provide the Arundel Conservation Trust with access to this property, which is going to benefit the town. We think in terms of trails, think in terms of parking lot. If I want to ride the Eastern Trail, I don't have to park on Liberty Road. There are going to be bathrooms. There will be future use that you can only imagine. So it it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Harry Porter. I want to bring up one thing that I'm questioning, and that's who's owning this land. It makes more sense for a conservation organization to own land than the town. The town would have certain liabilities with it. Conservation organizations are much better used in managing lands like this. So it makes all the sense in the world to give the town what it needs out of the parcel and let the rest go to the conservation organization.
Anybody has been heard?
And here, Arundel. So the 58 acres of land, I'm assuming will be for the town hall, but also are there already plans for maybe a park or playground or something in addition to the school, and maybe the ball field? I mean, 68 acres seems like a lot of land.
We certainly had discussions along those lines and envisioned doing some of that, even in concert with the Conservation Trust property, that if we needed to expand on it to accommodate a ball field or some park or recreational facility, that would be a partnership there to get that done.
The other piece of this is the original park was 4 acres for $200,000. Okay? In working with the Conservation Trust, the town was able to get a little bit more acres, and we felt that it was an awful lot of money for just 4 acres of land. So in collaboration with these folks, we were able to get 6 or 8 acres to put those ball fields. We don't know what's going to be there, but it gives us the opportunity to put something down the road. Where when you've got 4 acres of land, by the time you put the town hall, the septic system, the parking, there isn't a whole lot of land left. And we think that this works out good, and that's why it worked out that way. And to answer your question on the cost,
Sorry, I asked a pretty specific question, which is, if this does not pass, what alternatives does the town have? Are we back to the parcel on Route 1, and what does that mean?
Jeff, I'm not sure we have a plan B at this point in time. We certainly have evaluated other pieces, parcels of land, none of them seem to be suitable. We'll go back to the drawing board if this doesn't pass.
And can the town sell the one parcel? Because I agree with you, Helen, that it's marked with what the uses are of that parcel. You can sell that to someone and apply those funds to this parcel if need be, now that the town knows it's useless to the town.
That's a possibility.
And more useless to someone to fit the smaller upland usable land that's there.
That's on the table too.
That's kind of how that works, because you're buying 6 acres of upland and the rest is kind of swamp. So sell the other swamp to buy this swamp.
I just want people to know, I'm not against conservation. We live on the Limerick Road, we live next door to that, we're the River Meadow Farm. We have a beautiful piece of land, and we are in a family trust, and we want to conserve that. However, the way this was done, we're in good faith, we are voting on a piece of land, and you're saying we're already going to vote for that $375. If the conservation falls through, we still have to pay the $375. If it falls through, what happens? We're voting tonight for this.
You're voting tonight to authorize the selection.
Excuse me.
You're voting tonight to authorize the selection to enter into the agreements. If it doesn't close, it doesn't close. We don't spend any money. Okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the whole thing about control and having the town control it. I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to look at it, to go to any of the conservation trust properties. There's a lot of maintenance involved. TAP has an easy take on that. There's a lot of volunteers that go and maintain these trails, and there's a lot of work that's done there. Basically, this is something the town wants to take on, because it's just going to be too expensive.
David Berg, State Road. It makes sense to me to try to put people's mind at ease. Why don't you amend the motion to say just what you've been telling us? If these things aren't met, we will not close. Let's say that here, we leave it up to you when I trust all. But put something in the motion that would amend it. Trust would have to be in, we have to pass a soil test, or we don't buy it. So we're giving you a conditional approval, if you will. I think that's a bad word, conditional. But I think it's an easy fix.
My judgment, Dave, that's here already. there's already a link to having to secure 175.
Can't hear you.
I think the article already addresses that issue, right? It couples the 200,000 square foot up to 175. It's not there together. It doesn't happen. It's as simple as that. We as normal real estate persons in transactions, are going to be sure that the parcel can accommodate before we buy it what we intend to put on it. Okay? And that'll be part of any agreement or contract for the facility that we enter into with the landlord.
On the record now.
Yep.
And just so you understand, I am not against this arrangement, but I had to do my due diligence to understand why the arrangement was set up in this fashion, whether or not there was going to be a lien on the rest of the property, which would cause additional heartache down the road. Been here for a long time. I just want to make sure if we take this leap, that I do exactly what I was agreeing to.
Okay. I think my mind better. Any more discussion on Article 13? Sir?
Rich Gilman, I do have a question about the wording, because when I read this article, when I read this article, it says that to close on the purchase of a certain parcel of land 35 acres inside located on the generally southwesterly side of Winter Road in Arundel, to be acquired by Warren P.P. from Kerry Bunks LLC for $375,000, to be funded out of the municipal building reserve account, and then to execute and deliver to the Kennebunkport Conservation Trust. I think the clear reading of this is that the town is going to buy the land, and hopefully the trust is going to pay that back. This does not guarantee that that's going to happen. It says the town is going to spend $375,000 to buy this piece of property, and then they're going to transfer the title. I agree with the gentleman over here. This should be amended to indicate that it happens at the same time.
Add one word, revival. That's all you need.
And you can't. That would be too much to change. And understand, this is only the agreement. This is not the financial piece. The piece that finances it is the next article. So if you only finance $250, they don't cover their money. It doesn't happen because we're only financing. Understand as a town, when we come to town meeting, while I like these selectmen, they can spend literally nothing without coming to town meeting and getting our approval. And hopefully in my lifetime that will not change. So, in the next article, it only approves $250,000, I believe. And that is $200 for the land, $50 to do the work, the testing. If they don't come up with the $175, the selectmen can't buy it because we didn't approve the money. So in essence, it doesn't matter how it's worded, they can't do it without the money.
Further questions or comments on Article 13? Mr. Bassett, close it up.
Okay.
Was there a formal motion to amend this? I'll make a motion that it be amended to explicitly state that the Conservation Trust has to have some form of proof of funds, available funds before the closing occurs.
Second.
Motion made second to amend Article 14. I'm a moderator, and I'm talking about the moderator's rules. I'm going to rule that motion out of order because you're not allowed to make a substantive change to a warrant article at the town meeting floor. In other words, it has to go back to the process. If it was a typo or something as simple as that, but anything that changes the meaning is out of order because people don't have notice of what the change is. And in theory, for people that might have been willing to show up tonight. So I'm going to not allow that motion. says that, then that's fine. But we're not going to wordsmith the warrant article.
But I believe the moderator's manual also says that we can reduce the amount of money, can we not?
Yes, you can reduce the amount of money.
Okay, so I would just take a difference of opinion with Diane, and I would agree with the gentleman who runs the board over here. It says, and I quote, "to be acquired by warranty deed for $375,000 to be funded out of the municipal building reserve account." And the fact is, there is that much money in the account, is there not?
This is that.
No, there is not. Perfect. We have $362,000 in that account.
So there's
$362,000. We're still passing my problem is the same as the chairman over here. It says 375, you have the account, here tell me that's in that some change. I don't doubt that you're going to do this the right way, believe me. But I think the words could have been better. But all respectfully, disagree with you, the adding the word provided. This comes through, it's already in here. It doesn't change it.
Can I ask how much money there is in the reserve account right now?
So the last paper I read, there was only 362,000 in it.
362,000 in your account.
And you're asking, and you're gonna take 375 out of 362?
No, we're only going to spend $200,000 of the capital reserve fund.
It says to be acquired by warranty deed, the 375,000 to be funded out of the municipal building reserve account. And there's only 362 in there.
I think you have to read the rest of the article to understand exactly.
I don't understand anything, I'll be honest with you. That doesn't make sense. You make sense after that? 375, there's only 362 in there?
I do.
You do, well, I don't. And can I ask one more question to one of the members of the conservation? How long do you...
Through the moderator.
Mr. Moderator, how long do you have to pay back this money to for conservation?
They haven't given us a number. We are part, we are together. We're an affiliate of theirs,
So-
chapter of theirs. They're taking a risk on us and on all of us, that this is important enough for our community, and we want to build something really.
There's no time limit as to pay back.
There is not. That's their trust and our trust. And the people of Arundel to make this a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm proud of it.
So I have a question for Paul. I don't know if your level of expertise as an attorney is in real estate at all. So can you explain to them that this is the normal due process on the purchase and sale of a property? And in the contract, it's probably going to say, if we go out there and we spend, the first $5,000 and stick a shovel in the ground, and it's all swamped and we can't do a thing, it's over.
Correct.
But right now we're at a stalemate. Nobody makes a move and nobody spends any money because we have a contract.
Correct.
And in that contract, I'm sure you or the town attorney or someone is going to put all the language in that we just didn't buy a swamp. And we're not going to put it.
I hope so.
And explain that to them a little bit. That's the due process of the purchase and sale of real estate in all transactions.
Right.
And I do a little bit of work in the neighborhood with the Kennebunk Conservation Trust on significant pieces of property. And they are the best stewards of property. With unlimited funds within reason to maintain and manage it. I've never seen anything that they've done that was ever less than benchmarking law.
James Blount, the final part of this warrant article, I think, addresses what the motion was looking to achieve. It says, in consideration of the Kennebunk Conservation Trust payment to the town of $175,000, such that the town's cost of purchase of the retained parcel for the new municipal complex was $200,000. So,
Article 13. All in favor of Article 13, raise your yellow cards and signify in favor. All opposed? Article 13 passes. Article 14. $500,000 from the town's municipal building reserve fund for the purpose of purchasing land on Limerick Road on which the new municipal town office will be constructed, and for associated professional expenses, including but not limited to surveying, septic design, engineering, and architectural services. So motion to approve Article 14. Second. Motion's made, seconded. Discussion on Article 14. Come on. Okay. No discussion on Article 14. All in favor, say raise your hand. All opposed. Article 14 passes. Article 15. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $82,566 for police protection? Funding covers one patrol officer for 40 hours per week. Motion to approve Article 15. Motion is made, seconded on Article 15. Discussion on 15. Right? Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Tom Barron. I'm the Chief Deputy of the York County Sheriff's Office. With me today is your contract deputy, Deputy Greg Seveny, and standing next to him is the Patrol Commander, Major Paul Mitchell. The Sheriff's Office takes great pride in providing the law enforcement services to the town of Arundel. Deputy Seveny's position here in the town of Arundel is a good example of community policing. And that's problem solving. And that's where you get your best bump for your dollar there, is where we can identify problems and proactively go and try to solve those before they turn to bigger problems. So as you can see in your book on page 61 and 62, it shows the calls for service last year. You'll see that Deputy Seveny's self-initiated and/or the Sheriff's Office self-initiated activity outweighs, in our numbers I should say, the calls that come into dispatch. And that's being proactive. And again, identifying, seeing things before they get to be much bigger, that's the value of the contract deputy program in your personal contact with somebody to talk with. So again, I appreciate the town of Arundel having a contract deputy. You were one of the first communities in York County to do so, and I compliment you on it. So, great job, and again, the program works very well. Thank you.
Marty. Yes. Question. Last time we had this discussion, one of the suggestions was to come out and meet the business people, okay? Nobody has done that. So, I mean, as what you're saying is, if you don't meet the business people and everything else, why do we even bother?
Well,
I mean,
Deputy Seveny is right there. He will personally contact you today.
big deal. It's a little late now. I mean, how many months ago, it was at the same meeting when we were going through about the land on Limerick Road.
All right. Anybody have any other questions, comments on Article 3?
How many calls did you have in 2015 as opposed to 2016? I can see 16s, but I'd like to know what the increase was.
Yeah, 2015 for total calls for service was 3,195. So we've gone up a couple hundred since last year.
So we've had roughly a 20% increase. Do you think a 20% increase justifies 100% increase in the amount of coverage? We're going to go from 40 hours to 80 hours. You think that's justified?
That will be the next time.
That's the next article.
Next time.
This is just the 40 hours.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Gentleman in the corner in the white t-shirt, question?
My question is regarding, 15 to 6, the change from 15 to 16. I noticed that we have the self-policing versus the dispatch calls is higher, but the majority of those calls, there's 460 for a building area check, which is a self whatever, so that means that you guys drove by a building and looked at it, and you're counting that as 460 of your 1,900 your dispatch calls. And so, you know, I'd like to see the numbers between 15 and 16 because you can increase the number of those calls by just checking off that you stopped and looked at more buildings. That could account for the 300 more calls in the change of the year. Because, I mean, there's only 6 that were dispatched for somebody to look at a building area, and there were no burglaries. So, I mean, we drove by and looked at a building once a day. I don't, you know, it just, that doesn't seem to have, the added value of adding another 450 of those by another person just seems unnecessary.
Ms. Roberts.
My bigger question to do with the numbers, and I asked... The bigger question I had in regards to these numbers is on page 62 under motor vehicle stops. I believe last year the motor vehicle stops were what, 400 and some odd?
Check.
Last year, there were 902
Motor vehicle stops.
motor vehicle stops.
Okay. And I'm going to try to ask the same question I asked when we had this meeting earlier, like a few months ago. For these 834 motor vehicle stops, how many of his hours were spent doing motor vehicle stops versus other things? And then one of the big things that was discussed at the meeting was that these motor vehicle stops stop other things from happening. So out of these 834, so 2 questions. I want to know how many hours out of this 40 hours a week accounts for this 834, because I've been stopped before, so I know how long it takes to be on the side of the road while they check your license, registration, torture you on the side of the road. I've only been stopped once in my life, and I remember. I was 50 years old. So I want to know how much time was spent, and then I want to know out of these 834 stops, how many of them led to some other thing, possession of drugs, stolen property, whatever.
All great questions, but I don't have those answers for you tonight. I'm sorry.
You didn't have them for me the last time I asked you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, Diane, you're making it sound like the motor vehicle stops are not as necessary.
However, we do live on the Limerick Road and it's a speedway. We can't even sit in our living room at night and watch television without up the hill, down the hill. We love it when we see that the cars have been stopped. But it is a rural community, and there are only a few thoroughfares, and those are probably where the stops are happening.
Other questions or comments on Article 15? Sure.
Rick McLean, lived in Toronto all my life. I've been in law enforcement for 21 years, and I can tell you, matter of fact, times that I've had to deal with, I'm a state law enforcement officer, and if you don't know that, had to, matter of fact, deal with situations in this town, whether it be domestic violence, because I was the closest unit in my guy's home, whether it be breaking and entering, whether it be someone going down the road at 100 miles an hour, I had to chase my state truck, whether it was a snowmobile that was going 100 miles an hour, so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. When you guys call, they come, okay? They are going to protect you, and they're here to serve you. So, remember that. When you call, they come. At your lowest points, when you call, we come. No questions asked. Just remember that. Thank you.
I'd just like to add, I don't know if a lot of you know that, but a lot of times we'll get calls at the town office. People are going away for a while. You know, you say the break-ins are down, which is a good thing, because a lot of times people will call and say, could you let Greg know that I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks? Could he drive by such and such a house number and check my property? And we pass those along, and those property checks get done. But a lot of people don't realize that. So if you're going away, if you make them aware of it, he does go by, he does check on that for us, and, you know, keeps an eye on different things. And visibility of a police officer, I have to agree, has cut down the number of burglaries because they know that he is around.
Anything else on Article 15? of Article 15? All opposed? Article 15 passes. Article 16, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $136,240 for additional police protection. Funding covers the hiring of an additional contract deputy, 40 hours per week, and a police cruiser. Is there a motion on Article 16?
So moved.
Second. Motion made and seconded on 16. Discussion on 16. Sir.
David Bird, Senate Road, Wood Apple Campground. I have to indulge me for a moment. I'm getting old and can't remember what I want to say. So I wrote it down. Down East Magazine rightly said that Arundel was one of the best places to live in Maine. The school system is top-notch. Arundel has been the top scorers in the state for various learning subjects. We clearly are in need of a new town hall, and I support one being built as they have for years. Our fire department has come a long way in the past several years, as it should have. We now have ambulance and safety coverage 24/7, so we can save your life when you're in need, or your home when you're in need. We have great town hall employees who work in a small, crowded environment. That's an understatement. We have a fantastic public works department to keep our roads in better shape in towns with 4 times the crew. These things are what make Arundel a great place to live and work. And I take my hat off to all of you. But when it comes to law enforcement, we've not kept up with the times. I looked into the U.S. Census numbers for Arundel, and here's what I found. 1970, 1,300 people. 1980, we grew 62% to 2,150. 1990, another 24% to 2,669. 2000, another 33.8% to 3,571. 2010, yet more growth at 12.6 to 4,022. 2014 estimates listed by the Census Bureau for 3 years ago at 4,176, another 3.8% increase. For those of you not old enough to remember, as I do, back in the late 70s, early 80s, we had one deputy. I think his name was Joe Gagnon from Bedford. 40 hours a week. Now here we are, 37 plus years later, we still have one officer. Greg Lee signed to our town 40 hours a week. The population has grown 215% since 1970. And yet our law enforcement protection hasn't increased a bit. Yes, there are even years in between. There's a difference of opinion between the town and the county. We didn't have any contract deputy. But that's not my point. Look around you. What has changed in our community in the last 40 years? 40 years. Look at the explosion of seasonal residents just recently here in town. Look at the changes in growth in the surrounding towns. Remember Bedford Crossing was a pasture? Look at the increase in traffic on Route 1 and Lord knows, try to get out on 111. Look at the crime. Look at drugs alone. It isn't simply marijuana anymore. That's nothing. Remember we thought marijuana was a big deal, and it really wasn't? People are dying from the drugs of choice today. People are killing other people because of it. I recall in '78 when I moved to this area, Wells Police had just added their 5th full-time police officer, Dexter Shepard. He won mega bucks from Now they have 24. Kennebunk has 20 full-time sworn officers. Kennebunkport has 12 officers on the job, and they add additional officers in the summer. Yet their year-round population, take it where you will, is less than what we had in Arundel in 1970, folks. We have less in Kennebunkport than we had in 1970 here. They usually always have 2 police officers on the road, and during the day shift even more. That's good public safety for their citizens, as well as the officers we need back up when the need arises. It takes 4.2 officers to cover any town for 24/7. The time has come to provide proper police protection to our citizens. When one of our elderly or any one of us needs the assistance of a police officer, there should be one in town who can respond quickly. We should not have to possibly wait an hour or more for a zone officer or a state trooper to respond on the other side of York County, or a dispatcher to have to prioritize calls, sending officers to the most dangerous calls first. As when you make a call and feel there's enough emergency to call the police, it's your emergency. And they deserve to have someone respond in a reasonable fashion. I was surprised, in all due respect, everyone up front, I've already given you my kudos up front, so remember that part. I was surprised in reading the arrow we all got last week, and under highlights, Article 13 and 14 referred to our big conversation about the 250, albeit coming through the reserve fund. But just below it, there was an Article 16 which spoke of the cost of this additional officer that we're on now. How it impacts your tax bill. And if you had a home worth $200,000, it cost you an additional $66. This just happens to be the only article in the entire warrant the Budget Board and Selectmen did not recommend passing, even though they admitted they took a survey by hand at last year's town meeting and we law for additional services. The only one they voted no, recommended no. Yet for additional cost of Article 16, they pointed out how much your tax bill would go up if you owned a $200,000 home with the tax. But in Articles 18, $674,000, 19, $569,000. Public Works, $740,000, recycling, $99,000, general assistance, $86,000. No mention of impact on your tax bill. Now, I made it clear right from the beginning, we need these services. They're good services. And they can run what it is today. We need our town employees, our public works, our fire and rescue department, our general assistance. But folks, we're stuck at the same level as 1980 for our law enforcement protection. And just like a new town hall, it's long overdue. It's time to stand up for what is right and pay for the services we need and deserve. The town report, the assessor's office reports an increase of $10 million in taxable value just since last year. Only $2 million of this is residential value. Leave the rest, give or take, for commercial businesses that are paying. So we're growing. Arundel's clearly growing and able to bring in more taxes. I thank the leaders in town, both past and present, for keeping our tax rate reasonable over all these years. But I ask you to consider this. Assume you own a home worth $2,000. Is it worth $66 to you if someone's breaking into your home in the middle of the night and your family's sleeping for an officer to be there in a matter of minutes? Is it worth 3 times that, or $200 on your tax bill to have round-the-clock protection right here in town? What is it worth to you to reduce violent crime by having more police visibility in our community instead of someone thinking, hey, deputy worked today, I saw him. So he's off duty now, there might not be anybody there for 2 more shifts. So I can go home hammered, not even see a cop and run. But what if that person hit one of your family members? I seem to recall when Arundel Market was burglarized last year, the person who did it, they were caught, said they came to Arundel from out of town because we had no full-time policemen. Think, people, I just ask you, think about it. This is serious business, protection of life and property. I have a business in town that pays way more than $66 if this out of capacity with your support. If it does pass, I'm more than willing to pay my fair share. But also think about this for tomorrow. If it does pass tonight, we're still 2.2 people away from what should be the very minimum protection for all of us that run this. Thank you.
I think what I'm hearing from the deputy is that he feels they're doing a good job, and he feels that crime is not running rampant, whereas the gentleman over here would like to have us have enough officers just in case crime becomes a significant issue in Arundel. I guess those are the two sides, so to speak. For me, I would say I want to see the issue become more than just, it might be a problem for us, and we're behind all the rest of the towns in how many officers we have. That's how I feel.
Melissa Boyd. I live on River Road, and it talks about the patrol officer. I've almost gotten hit many times on Arundel Road and River Road, and people will have their windows open, and I can smell alcohol, and they throw beer cans in the middle of the night and go a million miles an hour. And I would really appreciate having a patrol officer to be on for that. I've seen that happen many times.
3 times, so Stacy Guile, I live off the Center Road. And I had an incident last year where I was driving along Center Road, and all of a sudden I saw something very strange. And it turned out it was a very elderly woman who had dementia, who had left her house in the middle of the night in her summer pajamas at the beginning of October, and she's laying in the leaves, possibly dead, possibly, you know, I don't know, comatose, scared the bejesus out of me. It must have been during a point where we did not have someone on duty, because it took 45 minutes for me to get anybody that I could talk to. We got an ambulance there quick enough. But when the ambulance took this woman, she did not know who she was, she didn't know her name, she didn't know where she lived. It took me and a neighbor to try and figure out who she was, and then be able to articulate this to the sheriff's deputy. He could then do the notification to the woman's spouse, and then take the gentleman to the hospital and tell him where everybody went. So I too believe that we can certainly benefit from an additional resource.
Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen from the sheriff's office. My understanding is that during the, whenever a full week minus 40 hours is the off time, we then are covered by a sheriff's deputy who is covering both Arundel and Waterloo, which is just a little bit down the road. And if you're in the alternative state police, and I know somebody in Alfred who says that if you've got coverage from the state police, you will not have coverage at all. I'm not trying to disparage them, but it takes time. So I'd like to reinforce the gentleman from Red Apple that I think that the cost, incremental cost here is pretty darn minimal to have contingency.
I agree with Mr. Burke. This town deserves more, we deserve better. My only problem is this isn't good enough. One more officer is not going to do it. We need 24/7 coverage. And this is not going to give us that 24/7 coverage. So we're still going to be, you know, if something ever happens and that person is not on duty, you're waiting 45 minutes. They're not the first one there. I just don't understand why we are not looking to partner with our neighbors. Kennebunkport has 12 police officers, and they're the same size as us or smaller. I just don't know why we're not. We can have more options brought to the table for us instead of just one officer.
Yes, I can respond a little bit. I did initially reach out to Kennebunkport Police Department looking for them to provide us services. At that time, they indicated to me that they would prefer that we have 5 additional officers with cruisers to supplement their department in order to provide services to us. I thought that was excessive at the time, and so we chose not to really look at it seriously at that particular point. Kennebunk, I spoke to Kennebunk as well. They wanted to pare down they want nothing to do with Route 111. So their argument was, we'll take portions of your property. Can you get the sheriff's department to take the other portions of your community? That again didn't seem to be something that was favorable to us. We have a good relationship with the York County Sheriff's Department at this point, and I didn't feel that that was a way to approach that subject. I would prefer to see an all-in kind of position being shown. It's refreshing to hear other people's opinions on this, and I think it also is very good for people to understand that if this was talked about at the last town meeting, the board felt because you voiced your opinion, whether they were going to approve it or not approve it, that they felt that it was warranted, that it would be here for another discussion. And I think that that spells well for your municipal officials to think that I do as well.
Mr. Roberts.
And I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. And yes, it might take 45 minutes. It might take longer if their cruiser is smacked up in Biddeford, a brand new cruiser. No matter what, we're already paying to the county. How much do we pay per year right now for county taxes?
We pay $270,120, which also includes the 5th year of the fiscal year transfer of theirs, so that will go down next year by around $25,000.
So we're already paying $275,000 to the county to provide us police protection, amongst other things, because as a small town, we don't get a lot of other things from the county except for police protection. While some of us may agree or disagree that we need more protection, at some point, this is going to break because we have to have money for a new town hall. We have a 20-year bond to pay for the schools. We want to do this and to do that. You know something? Some of us, including myself, can probably afford it. But you know something? There's probably a lot of people on fixed income that can't continue to increase every single thing. So at some point we have to say, what things are we as a town really responsible for, our calls, and what things are we already paying for within our county taxes, which is police protection. Now, when you pay the main state income taxes, you're already paying the state protection, which is the state police. So I'm not saying have anything with protection, I'm just saying we're already paying for it.
And this isn't for 1 year, it's 3 years, because the trial lasts for 3 years.
Anything further on Article 16?
No, it's a plus and smack it up.
All in favor of Article 16? All opposed? Article 16 passes. Article 17, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $95,340 for the general government account? Those are declining that. I think that's vote in favor of Article 16 passed. Article 17, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $95,340 for the general government account? Is there a motion? Okay, there's a discussion on Article 17.
Yes?
Ms. Roberts.
Since we're now going to be voting on financial pieces, I just want to make sure I know what I'm voting on, because I like to know the bottom line. Okay, so if we vote everything in, and we include all the school increase, the school bonds, what is the increase per 100,000? What will be the increase this year?
The town is anticipating that our tax rate will go somewhere around 15.34, we're 15.12 right now. So based on that, John, part of our budget committee, can rework my figures, and we just added another 33 cents to it, so we're at 15.65.
We were at 15. We were at 15.45, and hiring the extra deputy will cost us an additional 32 cents. So we'd be up to 15.77, I think.
And we're at 15.
Yes.
So the change per 100,000? $65.
Subtract one from the other, Diane, and do it as well as I can.
Is there further comments on Article 17?
All right, so it's a $65 increase. Okay. Does that include the school? That includes everything? Okay. How much are we taking out of reserves this year?
We're taking $300,000.
And what's left in reserves?
$2.2 million.
Okay. I just like to know what it is before vote. Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
When we get ready to do the rest, I know that you don't like doing it, but since most
I'm not
of
doing it. It's like doing it individually.
I know you like to do them individually.
But I do them quick though, because they go.
But many of these are a non-issue, and they're all connected. Is there some reason after this first one that we couldn't combine some of them and go?
I think it's problematic if you vote no and then you try to undo that. And you assume it's going to be a vote yes because it's so automatic and it turns out to be a no. I can guarantee you that I'll do my best to keep it moving. I know everybody's
All right.
patient.
Here we go.
So we're on Article 17. Any further discussion on Article 17? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 17? All opposed? Article 17 passes. Article 18, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $674,026 for the town hall administration account? Motion. Second. Discussion on Article 18. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 18? All opposed? Article 18 passes. Article 19, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $569,066 for the operations of the Arundel Fire Rescue Service account? Motion. Motion's been made, seconded, on Article 19. Discussion on Article 19. Sir, back to all in favor of Article 19? All opposed? Article 19 passes. Article 20, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,345 for the miscellaneous services account?
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve Article 20. Discussion on Article 20? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 20? All opposed? Article 20 passes. Article 21, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $8,000 for the Eastern Trail account? Motion?
So moved.
Motion's made and seconded on Article 21. Discussion on 21. Sir?
In the past, this account has been $5,000. Why has it gone up $3,000?
What we did is we combined the account. It's $5,000 for Eastern Trail dues and $3,000 for his maintenance. So it's all together in one account, as it was last year.
Further discussion on Article 21? Seeing none, all in favor of Article 21? All opposed? Article 21 passes. Article 22, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $704,689 for the Public Works Department account? Motion. Motion's made second on Article 22. Discussion on 22. Anyone? All in favor of Article 22? All opposed? Article 22 passes. Article 23. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $99,400 for the town transfer/recycling account? Motion's made seconded to approve Article 23. Discussion on 23. No discussion. All in favor of 23? All opposed? 23 passes. To Article 24, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $86,029 for the general assistance account? Motion's made and seconded on Article 24. Discussion on 24? All in favor of Article 24? All opposed? Article 24 passes. Article 25, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $239,365 for the recreation account? Motion made and second. Great job. Discussion on Article 25. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 25? All opposed? Article 25 passes. Article 26, shall the voters authorize the Board of Selectmen upon the majority of vote of the Board of Selectmen to exceed by no more than 5% annually the amount authorized for each account approved in Article 15 through 25 above, so long as the amount spent for the sum total of those articles does not exceed the total appropriation approved for those articles. Motion on 26. Motion is made second and on 26. Discussion on 26. All in favor? All opposed? Article 26 passes. Article 27, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $400,000 for the road construction reserve account? Motion is made seconded. Discussion on Article 27. All in favor of Article 27? All opposed? Article 27 passes. Article 28, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 for the Public Works Capital Equipment Reserve account? Motion made seconded on Article 28. Discussion on Article 28. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 28? All opposed? Article 28 passes. Article 29, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 for the Arundel Fire Rescue Capital Reserve Account. Motion made and seconded to approve Article 29. Discussion on 29. Seeing none, all in favor of 29? All opposed? Article 29 passes. Article 30, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $6,250 for the Recreation Department Bus Reserve Account. Motion made and seconded on Article 30. Discussion on 30. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 30? All opposed? Article 30 passes. Article 31, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $9,200 for the social services account.
So moved.
Discussion on 31. Seeing none, all in favor of 31? All opposed? 31 passes. 32, Article 32, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $14,000 for the Kennebunk Free Library. Motion made second on Article 32. Discussion on 32. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 32? All opposed? Article 32 passes. Article 33, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,500 for the Kennebunk Board Arundel Chamber of Commerce. Motion made second on Article 33. Discussion on 33. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 33? All opposed? Article 33 passes. Article 34, shall the town vote to appropriate the sum of $1,890,810 in the estimated revenues to be used to reduce tax commitment as follows. And this is about 6 things which I won't read. Is there a motion for Article 34? Motion made seconded to approve Article 34. Discussion of Article 34. All in favor of Article 34? All opposed? Article 34 passes.
Not all people move it.
Article 35 through what?
47.
Okay, a motion been made to take up Articles 35 through 47 collectively. In other words, there'll be one vote up or down on those items. And so motions are made to alter the rules to take those up. Everybody understand what we're doing? We're not going to go through them all individually. If it goes down and somebody was unhappy about one of them, we're not going to go back and take them. They're all going to go down. Okay, so everybody understands that risk. And we'll all set in my comfort zone. Right, you are the we're going to do this. So Article 35, just to repeat. I'm going to explain. Article 35 and 47 are going to be taken collectively. There's a motion been made second. Any discussion on that motion to take them collectively as a group? Seeing none. Well, vote on the motion to take them as a group. Then if that passes, then we'll take them as a group. All in favor of taking them together? All opposed? Okay, so we're taking them together. So now, let the record reflect we are voting because the motion was passed to take them all collectively and get everybody home 5 or 10 minutes early, which I certainly understand. 35 through 47, it's a motion to approve them all together. Discussion. Is there any discussion on all these articles or any of these articles? Anybody wants to say anything about any of these articles?